How's this? That work?
That's good, yep.
I don't need you, Ridge. Yeah, I could go like this. Boo, that was a bad joke.
That was, that's right.
Don't show that. Delete this, edit the scene.
Hey, a lot's been made about Tanner's improvements over the last 2.5 games. I guess what film study seen him in practice has changed just in his approach and his performance that's allowed him to kind of make that progression that he's made?
Probably a comfort level. I think he is doing a really good job of seeing the field and not trying to do too much. Not trying to force the ball into tight windows. I think probably a better job of recognizing coverage and just being more comfortable in what we're doing. I think as you get more and more experience with plays and are able to repeat some things, then I think he's just got a better understanding, better idea of where to go with the ball versus different coverages. So I think that comes with experience for sure.
Were there specific things that you kind of wanted to target during the bye week offensively?
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. We've had a lot of good work from last week up until today. Really working hard in protection and runs and completions, and we had a lot of really good detailed work I thought last week. Without a game kind of looming, we were able to go back on some things and fine tune some runs and some patterns. Now we're getting into Purdue, the plan, and we got a jump on them last week, but we were able to take some time with some detailed fundamentals, and I think it was really good work, really enthusiastic, and the guys worked hard and came with a great effort and attitude today about working, so that's encouraging.
Both wide receiver and running back screens this year, how do you feel like you guys have executed both running back screens and wide receiver screens this season?
Yeah, really hit and miss. We've had quite a few 3-4 teams, which has hurt some of the running back stuff. We've hit a few. We've had some tough looks with the nose tackles that are double readers that make those inside screens hard. We've had some man-to-man looks where we haven't gotten the screen started, both on the running back stuff and the wide receiver screens. And so we certainly haven't been nearly as efficient with those plays as we've had in our past few years. And it's been kind of a mixture of a bunch of different things, but we would love to have that better production out of those plays for sure.
Why is the 3-4 harder on the running backs?
A lot of times because of the lack of a D-tackle rush with the nose tackle. A lot of times he's a two-gap player, and so he's in those running back throwing lanes, in those tight windows. It kind of depends on the team how hard they rush. Sometimes they're more read and react than they are just pinning their ears and coming back after the quarterback, which helps to get some separation from the D-line and the linebackers. So some of it's been kind of the defenses we've faced in the schemes that we've had.
And then the perimeter blocking on some of the wide receiver screens, whether it's tight ends or wide receivers, has that just not been up to snuff?
Yeah, sometimes it's been the line, in space. We've swung and missed a few times. We haven't gotten guys on the ground or been able to cut a guy. We've been really out of control at times with the receivers and the tight ends not coming to balance and buzzing our feet. We've overshot some things, or we haven't expected the defender to react as quickly. Some of the things that we've had to detail through the bye week and really making sure we're buzzing our feet and getting balanced up and then getting the play started. So much of it is just getting on the defender and not letting him just run around us because we're out of control, running too hard to go pick a guy off.
Coach Riley mentioned this morning that he's hoping to get the tight ends a little bit more involved. He said that they haven't been involved receiving as much. you guys have had Hoppus get in there a little bit, but the only other tight end with the catch is Stoll. I mean, what's the plan with that? Do you guys rotate a few more guys? I guess how in the last 5 games, how do you get the tight ends the ball more often?
Yeah, I think both formationally and really the intent of the pattern too. You know, making sure that, for instance, Tyler would be the number 1 guy on the play. And, you know, sometimes that's taken away by certain coverages, but if we're featuring him as the number 1 throw on a play, that can help. You know, Stoll being in there in a rotation, I think, is a good thing to help keep those guys fresh and ready to win on some one-on-one matchups. So it hasn't been, you know, a lot of production lately, and we're trying to really work towards featuring those guys more and more and just take some pressure off the receivers.
What do you think you've seen from the younger guys like Allen and Raftel that are redshirting right now? I mean, what do you see like in their future?
Yeah, I think they look really good. We had a chance to work with them a little bit more last week, more so than you do during the game week with the scout team. So that was encouraging. See, they're big target areas on both of them, and they run well. I think they're physical. They're really working hard on blocking, and I'm just encouraged by how they've looked in the short time that I've gotten to work with them. They are going to be exciting players.
And Mike's mentioned a couple times he'll want to get Jalen Bradley more involved.
Mm-hmm.
Trey officially being out, is that something you actively try to incorporate more into the offense, or something that just might naturally happen?
Yeah, no, I think giving him more work, getting him more and more different plays that he's comfortable with. You know, we don't want to overload him with it being a true freshman, but I think he is deserving of some more work. You know, with Trey's situation being what it is, you know, just making sure. I think he's shown some signs of really being a talented runner, an all-around player, a good receiver out of the backfield. He's tough, blocks well. He's kind of that all-around type that Trey is. You know, he's similar to Trey that way, and so I think that giving him some more work and featuring him a little bit more on some series is good. It'll help.
So often, fans and media will talk about want to and desire and things like, you know, amorphous terms about how an offense gets better. For you, is it more about that, or is there a balance between that and precision, execution, assignment, some of the control aspects of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definite you know, need for playing with heart and passion. That's a standard. You know, that's a standard deal in football for sure. But I think there's got to be that goes with it is the execution and the assignments, details of the fundamentals and how to block a guy and how to align on a route and work against press and off. And I mean, there's so many details on every play for every position. So there's definitely the want to factor, but what comes with that is the details of the assignments and each play.
I feel like it's been a journey this season with some of these guys being probably playing the most that they've ever played even on the offensive line except for the game.
Yeah, it's a work in progress for sure. We've played with some young guys, some guys that have been you know, beat up a little bit. So we've had some new faces in there on the perimeter. You know, and it's like every team. You're going to have some kids with bumps and bruises, and you're going to have to play with some different guys. So it's always that continual work in progress. And the good thing is adding to the depth of our team. You know, the more guys that play, the more guys that have game experience, the more or the deeper we'll be as we go.
How do you guys evaluate offensive line? We got a little extra time like this, and then you guys make any changes this week, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, you're seeing a little more Matt Farniok in there. I think you know, with he's coming off that injury and getting more comfortable playing. You know, I think just the constant work with that group and working as one. You know, that's so much about that line, as those 5 really gelling and coming together helps the communication and so much of the being on the same page up front, both in the run game and in protection. So I think just the more we can find that final 5 and stay with it. And you know, I think you've seen some good work from that group at times, and at times been a little bit inconsistent. So we are playing Matt in there a little bit more, and we're going to look at that the next few days. Good. Yeah, I think overall it's pretty good.
Hey, is Keon Williams close to that coming this
Practice a little bit today. Yeah. Yeah, so I think he's working back in. Yeah.
Was Reimer's injured too?
He practiced today too, so I think those guys are feeling better. I think last week we were able to a lot of rehab on some kids and getting them back. Yeah.
Do you feel like Williams is somebody who can help you this week, or is it still sort of gradual?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet on that. I think that might be a little too early to tell.
Farniok working at some guard.
Yeah.
What leads to that decision, moving in from tackle to guard?
I think that's probably his most natural position. I think that just depth-wise, we've needed some bodies at tackle, and I think with Hymas coming along and Neville being in that tackle spot, Gates and Gaylord, I think that it was easy to move him inside and feel like that's probably his best position. That's kind of where we've seen him for a while, but with our numbers, we've needed more tackles. So we've played him out there. He's athletic enough, but I think that that's probably his best spot is that guard position.
Do you feel good about your tackle spot long term, or do you need conference support?
Yeah, I think that a lot of times we try to recruit a lot of tackles, knowing that you could move one inside. We've had some kids already do. Farniok's a good example of that. He's a tackle recruit, and probably his best position is in there. So we've got to keep filling those holes.
What's the expectation with that line? Because now you've got Farniok back, you've got Neville, and then a guy like Cole Conrad. Are you going to try to rotate guys in, or are you just looking for the best five?
Yeah, I think the best five, and we're not afraid to do a rotation in that. I don't like rotating at center. I don't think that makes a lot of sense just with the quarterback center exchange. But Cole's getting some work. He's been playing probably a little bit more center. He can play guard. Farmer's getting work with that one group along with Farniok. So it's some guys that we're continuing to work through that and make sure we got the best five in there.
You guys made a decision on who you're going to start at guard between Farniok and Farmer?
Not yet. Not yet.
Danny, with the injuries and some of the changes of positions up front, how much have you had to limit your play calling? Because you always want to put plays out there that they feel comfortable running. Have you had to dial it back throughout the course of the first 7 games?
Yeah, sometimes. It kind of depends on the game and the position you're talking about. When you're not at full strength, you got to be a little bit aware of overloading a guy that's maybe in a different position or new. But sometimes it's the game you're in too. So we're happy to kind of have that break and get guys back, and I feel like we're getting back to full strength. So I think that probably came at a good time. All right, thanks.